Do you think the threat of the strike is they can understand the significance of that based on the recent things that have happened, like our Key Bridge, we're from Maryland, our Key Bridge collapsing and it just stopping all the ships from being able to deliver?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I would like to tell you something.
Okay.
When that bridge fell, my longshoremen are on this side of the bridge, no work, no salaries. Biden called me up on the phone, President Biden. Harold, I got the money to build a new bridge. I go, oh. What about my longshoremen? They're out of work now. They didn't cause no problem. Well, he goes, I got the money for building a new bridge and getting the bridge that's in the water out of there. I ask you one more time, President, what about the men whose families now have no money coming in? Well, if there was an explosion on a ship, maybe I can get the money. Listen, you're supposed to be a friend of the ILA. You came to me when you wanted the AFL CIO backing. I got it for you. You called me in the kitchen, you thanked me 1,000,000 times. I'm telling you, my members need help.
Tell me that politics isn't important. Tell me that it's not important for you to vote and determine who becomes president of the United States of America. Tell me how that doesn't trickle down to you directly and that your family is not impacted by what you see happening in everyday life. I don't care if you're a farmer. I don't care if you're a port worker. I don't care if you're an auto worker. I don't care if you're on finance and Wall Street. No matter what you do, if you're a content creator, JD Vance brought it up yesterday during the debate, and he said that, listen, democracy is important. And the fact that we have censorship amongst Democrats, especially during the time, because I remember during the pandemic, right? 2021, 2022, it was a lot of people that were censored. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, now X, and he released all of the documents to show that certain people was being targeted and things like that. Tell me that it doesn't matter. This guy just basically told you that he got a phone call, and this is why I like these old school dudes, because they don't care. When they get mad, they just gonna tell you what it really is, and it's just gonna be the end of it. Biden called him for support. You scratch your back, I scratch my back. Now, one thing that I was having a conversation about, I was talking about this on the Millionaire Morning Show over the last few days in anticipation of this strike, was why was the Biden administration so quiet? Why were they so quiet? How come? And I had this conversation earlier on this channel in the video that I just dropped before this. I said, look, if you really want to show leadership skills, then Kamala Harris should get in the mix, especially since she wasn't able to secure the Teamsters endorsement. The first time since 1996 that a Democrat hasn't been able to secure the Teamsters endorsement. Get into the mix. Help negotiate a deal. Get America open, considering that it's probably going to cost us somewhere upwards of the American economy. $4-5 billion a day, a week. I don't know. That's what estimates from different banks are saying. Get into the mix. But it's always some backdoor BS that's going on. Excuse me, because I'm trying to make sure that I'm not cussing anymore. I'm working on it. Somebody help me accountable in my comments. They said, Anton, your message would be better received and I could send it to my friends if you're not. All right, I'm not cussing no more. So make sure you send it to your friends and family. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, teach Hanley 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. And then make sure you come and see me in person so you can see what I'm really like and we can have that conversation. Discount code Anton. That link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat also. But the reality is that these people are backdooring. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. I need this endorsement. This is a power play. They want to maintain power. They want to stay in office. They want to be in a position to be able to determine whether or not you're going to be hurt or not, and what money goes over to Ukraine and what immigrants can come over into this country. And as long as I scratch your back, listen, get your endorsement, get your people to endorse me and vote for me. And then I'm going to make sure that y'all good on y'all end if y'all need a favor. Okay, hey, phone call. I got that money for the bridge that just got ran into. And then he says, well, listen, the deal is I need you to scratch my back in another way. What about my workers? They out of work. They ain't making no money. What about their families? The people that's on the dock that can't work. I see what I can do.
Well, let me see what I can do. In politics, that means you're not getting it, okay? I opened up a fund with management after the first pandemic. Let me see how much money's in that fund. I called them up. They called me back. 300 million. Wow, are you kidding me? We put 300 million in there? Yeah. Well, I'd like to take some money out of there and pay for those families in Baltimore. Well, Harold, it's only for pandemic. Well, what about we get your lawyers and my lawyers, and any disaster, nature disaster, whatever, we can draw from it. I have no problem as long as the lawyers work it out. They worked it out one day. It cost me $1.2 million every week to pay for their families. Plus, they were allowed to go to unemployment. And it's over now. They're back working. The ships are going in and out. I never got no help from the government. We did it on our own, man.
So you scratched their back, which again, that is literally the definition of politics. And one of the reasons why it's so difficult for me to even fathom myself getting into politics. As of this point, right now, I got so much more to do. Why would I handcuff myself by getting into it and getting into that dirty game? It's the dirtiest game that you can play. But he scratched their back. They didn't scratch back. Couldn't get no money for the workers. Had to go back and work it out themselves. You on your own. Same thing that they do to people in these communities, in these urban communities, in these cities. Ain't no different. The reason why Kamala Harris and the Biden administration got to send a tweet that say, "Oh no, we stand with the workers," instead of actually getting into the mire and helping negotiate a deal that's on the benefit of the workers, is because they probably can't, considering that they didn't deliver when it was time to deliver, when they scratched their back and they didn't get their back scratcher back. So now, this is what happens.
Management and union. That's what we're supposed to be doing, working together. And I hope we get back into that right realm.
Now they angry.
Do
They
you
want
think-
That was in
7%.
Baltimore.
Right.
What was the question again?
Well, it was just about like, I remember
Wait
like
till
how,
that's
how
all
significantly it
pissed.
impacted our businesses, like the supply chain, because I
glad you
live
brought that
on the
up.
Chesapeake
Let me
Bay,
explain
and all
something.
the ships were just waiting on the other
Liz,
side.
let me explain something to you. These people today don't know what a strike is.
Right.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's gonna happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in.
He
the
the final
lumber's
boss.
not coming
He the
in.
final boss.
They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, "I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you." Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the companies money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you.
I'll cripple you. I will cripple you. This is the worst thing to happen. Listen, we're going to deep dive into the economic impact and all of that. We do that on the Millionaire Morning Show. We do that on the vlog. But when Kamala Harris sat there and they told y'all, listen, this is effectively going to be a tariff on the American people if we have things coming into this country that cost more. While Donald Trump is saying that we need to be less reliant on outside sources and become a powerhouse within, who do you think was right? And where do you think that inflation is going to take your prices next? I love you. I appreciate you. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon and come get the tickets and come and kick it with me in person. Atlanta, November 2nd. Detroit, December 14th. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. He said it, not me.